It is wonderful to be back. Today, we are talking about when life gives you lemons. We've all been there, where life kind of throws you a little curveball. By the way, we're talking curveballs and we're talking actual lemons. My number one favorite ingredient. Anyone else big lemon fans here?
Yes.
Love lemons. Super versatile, incredibly bright. But on the flip side, can also be really sour. And when you think about life gives you lemons, the biggest bag of lemons I was ever dealt in my life was probably, I think, when my parents got divorced. I was in high school, and we just kind of stopped gathering around the kitchen table, around dinner. And that is when I started to kind of pick up a knife and a pan. And I started to kind of experiment in the kitchen. And I realized when I put food on the table, my siblings and my family kind of came back to the table. And I don't know if I would be here today if it wasn't for being dealt those lemons. So that is what today is all about. You know, we're leaning into the things that bring us adversity, but we're celebrating what comes out on the other side. And during that time, my family loved chicken dishes, like chicken everything. But I was so bored of the same chicken dishes. So I remember I found this Moroccan preserved lemon chicken dish that just slayed every single time. So I'm gonna show you this for our first bite, Moroccan chicken with preserved lemon. So we're gonna make like the quickest little marinade, okay? 3 ingredients. I think when people think Moroccan food, they think, I gotta have a gazillion spices. I don't know where any of these spices are or what they're called. 3 spices I want you to pick up. Turmeric, really good for you. Cumin, smoked paprika, which gives you just like kiss of campfire and just gives it this beautiful flavor. So I'm adding all that into a bowl, and then 2 super spicy ingredients. Freshly grated garlic, freshly grated ginger. And then I've got, unbelievable, these are wonderful seedless lemons. Have you guys ever used these before? Seedless lemons, dude. These are where they're at. No more going on a date or having people over and trying to pry something out of your teeth, okay? When you get a little lemon seed in your recipe, it can be a disaster, ruin the entire thing. So these are naturally seedless, like totally naturally seedless, which is amazing. They're also way juicier. I don't know if you guys knew that. So we're gonna go with half a lemon in here. It's really, really simple, okay? And that is like literally it. We're gonna grab some chicken pieces. We've got some thighs, a little bit of breasts, some legs, and we're just gonna kind of get it going in there. Really, really simple, and just kind of give the whole thing a good toss. And what happens is that lemon, this is why this whole thing is about lemon, it kind of like punches the fibers of the chicken and kind of like makes it super supple and soft. When you marinate meats in acid like lemon, it just kind of melts in your mouth. So if you can use this marinade for things like lamb, beef, fish, gorgeous. It works every single time. All right, so we got this chicken that I kind of just tossed through the ginger, the smoked paprika. One thing to think about is I don't put a lot of salt in my marinade. So what we do is we're gonna salt it once it kind of goes in the pan. So I'm gonna go with some of these chicken pieces right in the pan, try not to overload it. And then I'm gonna salt it up. And when you salt things, you guys, I don't want any of these like little Tinkerbell salts, okay? That doesn't do anything to your food. From up high, good salt. Yeah, clap it up for that. From up high, a little bit of pepper. Beautiful, and you can smell the ginger. It's just kind of starting to kind of open up the garlic, and this is just the smell that like all of a sudden, my siblings, my parents, like everyone's just coming back, and this is home cooking. This is what it's all about. All right, so lemon's hanging out. I'm gonna do this crazy topper. So I've got 2 different types of olives. A green, kind of briny, like salty olives. I love these. I just snack on these. Kalamata, I've had like a love-hate relationship. Who likes Kalamata olives? I don't, okay, you like them? I don't love them. But they serve a purpose here. They really do. And they kind of have a deep, kind of, I think, like raisiny flavor that I really like. I'm gonna go with some parsley, and I'm just gonna like, on my board, chop all of this up. All right, now this sprinkled over a tire would taste good. All right, this is parsley, beautiful, gorgeous olives. Again, you could spoon this over anything and it would be so delicious. It gives it just like an extra punch of just briny goodness. So I'm gonna throw in a whole cinnamon, and then we're gonna add in some chicken stock. This is so easy. It's kind of all in one pan too. And then you just kind of gather up all of these olives, chopped parsley. I mean, look at that. I will faceplant in that. That is gorgeous. And you just kind of sprinkle that around. And this is where it gets super interesting, all right? So the olives are in, the parsley's in, and we're gonna braise this chicken. And this chicken's gonna kind of fall off the bone, which is gonna be amazing. But one more secret ingredient. Today is all about lemons. We're using preserved lemons. And in Morocco back in the day, there was not a lot of refrigeration, right? They're in the desert, so they had to figure out a way to keep lemons from going bad. So they'd preserve them by putting in water with salt. And it's almost like pickling them. And when you take them out, you actually don't use the middle of the lemon. You just use the outside, which is really interesting. So you kind of put it on your board like this, and you just run your knife through it, and you're left with like just the skin. The actual skin, you slice up into like a little confetti, and it just adds like this, like, whoa, what is that? So this looks absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you guys can smell it. Does it smell insane in here? Now you can caramelize some onions in there, or you can kind of just toss them through. And then what you're gonna do is just kind of throw in a lid. And you're gonna let this braise for about 45 minutes. And what you're left with, I'm just gonna hold this up so everyone can see. So a nice bed of couscous. Get into that chicken and look, it's just kind of falling apart. The onions, all of that preserved lemon. You can even throw a little bit of that gorgeous cinnamon stick on top just because it looks beautiful and it kind of just tells everyone this is the real deal. And this, my friends, is like the best. It is the best. One thing we know is that preserved lemons, they actually cost a lot of money. So we went to the Homemade Live test kitchen. We wanted to show you our homemade version. So watch this. What's up, Meg?
Hey.
Hey, hey. We are always left with just squeezed lemons.
Yeah.
So we're gonna preserve these. So how do we do that?
Just salt. That's really all that you need. And just hit them with salt all over, get it inside, and then pack it in the jar. Pack them in real good. We're gonna add some coriander seeds, just some lemon juice to kind of get that fermenting a little bit. And then water.
Yeah. Is that literally it?
That's it.
Let's give the whole thing a little shake.
Yeah, shake it, let it sit for, I would say like 3 days, turning it every so often, and then put it in your fridge. After about a month, they'll be totally cured and you can use them in whatever recipe. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Meg. All right. We are talking about when life gives you lemons, both actual lemons and when life gives you a little bit of a curveball. How do you take it on? And our next guest embodies this. He is incredible. He is the host of Big Sky Kitchen. He's also doing a live series from his place called Hungry Life Live. He's amazing. Guys, give it up for Eduardo Garcia. You're the best. Come on in.
Okay.
I saved you a bite. I saved you a bite. I saved you a bite.
Thank you. What am I trying?
You're trying a little Moroccan chicken situation.
Oh my
yes.
God. Do I have to use the fork?
Yeah, exactly. Just go with it, baby. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Good, right? With the couscous. So Eduardo and I have known each other for years now. He lives in Montana, and he is an outdoorsman. You're such an inspiration to all of us, but I know many years back, something happened to you. Life threw you a little bit of curveball.
It did.
Let us in a little bit.
I was actually just about to throw a show to the Food Network, and I was 7 days away from them looking at my concept and got electrocuted while elk hunting at home. And while there's not time for all of the detail, there's a documentary called Charged. Go check it out. It shows all the details and talks about the journey. And as an immigrant kid, as a Latino Jew, growing up in Cowboy Town, Montana.
I didn't know you were Jewish. Let's talk for a
This
second.
love affair goes deep, Joel.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I put jalapeno, lime juice, and dill in my matzo balls. Like big time. And you know, you think it's sort of over. And what I've learned is we all have gone through our own journeys, everyone here, not just myself, not just you, Chef. it is what you make of it. I mean, that is the power, that is the potency of this beating heart that we all have. It's what we make of it. And so.
I also know, because I know you, that they actually discovered something that was going on with you that
Right.
ultimately saved your life.
I'm a cancer survivor. I had 9 exit wounds.
Yeah.
And through the process of surviving those wounds, we discovered that I had testicular cancer. I was 30 years old when this happened. And what's curious about it is I had read Lance Armstrong's books as a yacht chef in my 20s.
Yes.
And not knowing I would go through the journey of cancer. And so what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go backwards. I know that now. I'm 43 years old. I just would not take a day back. Sometimes this is rough. Sometimes the body hurts through the process of locomoting with a prosthetic.
Yeah.
And yet, very quickly, I'll share, I was on my way to physical therapy in ICU one day. And there's a bed going past me this way, and I'm going that way. I'm walking. And the bed had a fellow named Will Lautzenheiser, quadriplegic, missing legs and arms both. And he raises his stump in the air, and he says, "You got this, man." And I'm looking over at him, I'm like, wow. And it was just like crystallizing, like, wow, you're missing all of your limbs, buddy. And you're rooting me on? I'm just missing this much. I'm just. And so, whether it was through the cancer journey or becoming an amputee, I've always wanted to cook and share my love of life with others. And now I feel I have these extra attributes and assets to do that with. And it's a unique way to look at it. And yet, what are you going to do?
I mean, it's so inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We are going to do something that I feel like gets messed up all the time. We're going to kind of do these country-style, amazing crepes. These are Eduardo's crepes. Let's give it up for that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I need to throw this out to my wife, Becca, because
She's amazing.
she is amazing. She is a godsend and a gift to me in my life. And she started making this recipe.
The
And
apples?
she started using turmeric and ginger. We love ginger for what ails you. It warms the body up. It's great for digestion. We're gonna grate those up, dice them up.
All right, so we're just taking a grater and just grating this puppy, and it almost looks like carrot. I've actually never used fresh turmeric.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
How much do I need to?
That's plenty. That'll do you. It actually has a strong flavor, and you could use turmeric in your rice dishes. I sometimes throw it in my green drinks with a little banana and spinach.
It smells really fruity.
It is, absolutely.
Wow.
You know what I love about that? The smell of food. If anyone ever takes that away from us, let's revolt.
Yes.
I mean it. Like,
Agree.
right? Like,
Now we're going to add in a little bit of a spice mix.
Yeah.
This is your own little spice mix here.
this
What's in it?
is, it's a mix of cinnamon, organic cane sugar, ginger, clove, and a little chili powder.
So this is going to be the filling, and we're going to let that just kind of hang.
This is gonna be the filling. I will stop stirring it once I know, it's like seasoning rice in a sushi restaurant. They say that every grain has to touch all the vinegar.
Yes.
And so I'm just gonna make sure that all the apple touches all the turmeric, all the ginger, and all of that spice blend. While this does its thing though, the crepe batter,
Let's get to it.
that's another side
Do
of this.
people here make crepes a lot or no?
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to say before we blend this up, his ranch, which is right outside of Bozeman, is one of the most spectacular things I have ever seen in my life. Like, it is a real ranch. And his kitchen is insane. And he's starting to host live classes from his kitchen. So you can actually cook alongside Eduardo wherever you are in the world. Get a little taste of big sky country. By the way, can I just get a close-up of thy hand here? Look at this.
Yeah.
My hand is tie-dye permanently, I
You
think.
have been anointed, my friend.
Exactly. I am now part of the turmeric club. So we've got whole wheat flour in here, whole milk.
Yep.
A little pinch of salt, which
Yep.
I'm going to add that. We have the same spice mix that you put in the apples.
Yep.
I love that.
Absolutely. So it's just going to add a little sweetness and the
Yeah.
organic sugar, plus a little of that spice bouquet, cinnamon, ginger, allspice.
I love it. Beautiful
Those
three-range
huevos,
eggs.
2 eggs. Yep.
Yep. And then I'm assuming the key is you don't want to over blitz this, but what's the deal?
You know, you would think that because we're working with flour,
Yeah.
but we want it totally, totally whipped up.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and
whip
we have a spatula here, so at some point If you see like a clump of dry flour on the side of your blender, not while it's running, you're gonna pause it, you're gonna scrape the edges, but we want it fully blended, like fully whipped.
Love it. All right, so we've got a mason jar. We've got our crepe batter in here, which is nice and smooth. It looks like a smoothie.
This gets shook up so that there's no separation between the water and the milk and the heavier. This is a whole wheat batter, so that's the thing to note too, so it's gonna be a little heavier. And then with our pan, got a little brush, whether it's a brush or a paper towel, we want to lightly season our pan, and because it's a crepe, we're gonna go all the way to the edges because we want it to be as big as possible because it's delicious. And so next, we're gonna figuratively pour our crepe batter right in the middle. We're gonna eyeball how much goes in there. This is the learning curve. And once it's in the pan, it's a mixture of shaking and wrist control.
Will you tell me how much to go?
Yeah, we can do this together?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna drop that
Tell
first.
me when.
Keep going, you're good.
Super simple.
And so the shaking is key.
Why?
And
Why not just like turn? Why shake?
it needs encouragement. And now let it sit.
Who is this guy?
It's true.
I love it.
It's true.
You can see all the little bubbles happening.
Correct. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tease the edges first like that.
God, this smells so good. The
It
whole
does
wheat
smell delish.
just smells so nutty.
Lift
Live
up.
TV. Oh my God.
I'm passing it on because we are the puppeteers, but it's the batter, it's the pan, it's doing a lot of the work.
We
here.
kind of nailed the first one. I know, yeah. Let's say you mess it up. I've had scrambled crepe before where it's just a bunch of pieces. Delicious. Just own it.
Oh, did you want me to mess that up?
No,
Okay.
you're good. Yeah.
Well, the thing is it's true. I've done this as a demo in front of folks. I brought it to a fundraiser in LA last year, and it was at the French Embassy, so we did these. And we were messing them up left, right, and center because you were rolling through it, and that's okay.
This looks awesome. All right, so those go out, and then how do you typically go to the next level here?
Grating a lemon onto your crepe.
You mean just the zest?
Just the zest, yep. And you don't want to go all the way to the white. The pith can tend to be bitter, so we just want to use the outside.
You
That,
can smell it hit the hot crepe.
you want some of this action on you?
Yes, please.
This is a classic finish of crepe, and again, it sounds like we're with a bunch of veteran gastronomes in the room, and so we're not telling anyone new. Anyone out there watching or viewing this is classic and standard, and on every street corner in France, you're gonna find crepes like available, and they may give it a little juice. I'm just going with the zest. From here, you can paint the picture. So whether you go with your turmeric, you're going the apples. I may do both.
Am I going just in the center or everywhere?
Well, so this is the thing. So whether you fold it afterwards or just keep it open, our roots as Jews, we may roll this up and call it a blintz.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And so you can kind of choose.
Do your thing.
You can choose and do your thing.
All right, I was always told, keep kind of the pocket like that. I love that. Yeah.
Classic quarter fold. If you had done the cracked egg cheese savory action, you may just fold the edges in.
Dude, I could just sit here all day decorating this.
Look at this chef paint away. And here's a very important part. You don't even have to spend $33,000 on culinary school to learn this.
That's right. That's right.
Presentation, right? Like, play with it.
Yeah.
Paint this picture. Cheers.
All right, cheers, my man. Let's try it out. I just want to give this a really good try. The apples, by the way, I tried one, so good.
First bite of turmeric. Give it up for Chef Joel.
I love it. My very first impression is I could eat 17 of these. And they're not too sweet. They're not that type of crepe that you get at like, I don't know, where it's like desserty. This is very light, but at the same time, the toastiness from the whole wheat, perfect.
What about this chest warm that's going to happen with some of that ginger?
I know. I absolutely love it. Give it up for Chef Eduardo Garcia.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
You guys, we will be right back with some Homemade Live. Thanks, everybody. So we're going to try something new, which is we're going to hear from you guys. So if you have any questions for Chef Eduardo or myself, let it rip.
I would say question for both of you as someone who hasn't really gotten into cooking and who's almost a little bit like intimidated about it. What are some easy things that I can do to get used to being in a kitchen and being around hot pans and food that I've never really made before?
I would say, what's your favorite dish to eat?
I'd say probably like a Mediterranean bowl.
Ooh.
Yes, Mediterranean food is so fresh.
You should start with that. Like, start with your favorite thing. Try making it from scratch. It will blow your mind how much better your version is than any version you've ever bought. And then you'll be bought it. Yeah.
I agree. Great question.
Well, thank you both so much. These are two of my favorite things to eat you made today so
cool.
far, so this is great. My question for you is, when you had to sort of relearn how to do lots of things with one hand, how much did you learn on your own? What kind of help did you get? And how did your cooking maybe change in ways that you weren't expecting just based on your changed outlook on life? Were there ways that your approach to cooking shifted?
I remember Googling, like, it sounds funny is the wrong word, but I remember being in ICU bandaged up and Googling how to be a one-armed chef. Like, how do you do this? And thanks to the Googleverse, things pop up. And there was a chef in England who was cooking with a prosthetic. And so that's all I needed to see. It was like, I thought I was done. I was just by nature.
You thought it was impossible.
Listen, when you're used to being bilateral,
Yeah.
that's what you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to even imagine life in survivorship afterwards. And so that search just helped me sort of walk through the wall and realize, okay, I'm on the other side of this room, this is gonna be fine. And then second part of your question, this is probably even more applicable to every single one of us, was I softened up. I would look around and say, will you help me? So I brought on more help. I love asking for help now. I love receiving help. I love giving help. And chefs been in my home. If you watch Big Sky Kitchen, you'll see, we film it in my home, and there's a rusticity to my food now. I was able to let go of a little of the perfection. And it's not that it doesn't matter, but we can train and be taught to focus on perfection versus purpose.
I love that. Yeah, thank you for your questions, you guys.
Thank you.
We are talking When Life Gives You Lemons with Eduardo Garcia. What are we making for kind of a final little send-off drink here? What is this?
Traditionally, I call this a quick switchel. It's known as a switchel or haymaker's punch. Ginger, apple cider vinegar, honey, all goes into the mason jar.
Okay.
And then lemon. So we'll cut a lemon, we'll squeeze.
These are the seedless lemons, by the way, which I love. Do you want all of them in?
Yeah, this is a dealer's choice. So again, with
love
most
lemon.
recipes, migrate through these with your own tastes and flavors leading the charge. You want this for all reasons in all times. I think this was given to folks during the hay harvest to, you can have this hot and you can have it cold. So that's the other thing, is this can be sipped as a hot punch or chilled. And so we'll have it, this will wake you up.
Damn!
Yeah.
Okay, wasn't prepared for that.
Haymaker's punch.
I love it.
It's called
I love
punch
it.
for a reason, not haymakers like pet.
Soft, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and
Hot
then,
water it?
Yeah,
You can smell it blooming.
it's catalyzing all of the goodness coming out of the ginger fibers.
Look at
and
the big pieces of ginger in there, too.
Yep,
Oh, my gosh.
it's getting to business.
So then what do? Do you just let it sit, or do you put a lid on it, or you just drink it?
This can now sit. The longer it sits, the longer it will extract the goodness from what's in here. I mean, the honey is already liquid, the lemon is already liquid, the cider is already liquid, so it's really the ginger that you're extracting from. This is, I believe, a strained version.
Yes.
I like to gussy it up if I'm having it chilled with a little candied ginger.
Ooh,
And
this is it.
the haymaker's punch. I mean, it.
Look at that.
and
Give
or-
it up for Eduardo's
Switchel.
Haymaker's Punch. Cheers, buddy.
Salud, chef.
Good try. Oh my gosh, that's like the best ginger ale you've ever had in your life.
9,000%.
That is so freaking good. And we're gonna make sure everyone gets a taste of this.
Yeah. L'chaim.
I really, really hope that everyone got a taste of Eduardo and get a taste of what it's like. Yes. Give it up.
Thank you.
You never know what life's gonna throw us. You never know. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. It's in our control to make it the best we could possibly make it. Whether that's good food, turning a frown upside down, getting together, community. This is what it's all about. You embody it, Chef. You live it.
Thank you.
It emanates off you, and we get to be just energized and loved and hugged by it. So thank you.
Yeah, man.
Love you.
Yeah, man.
Cheers. See you next time.
Cheers, Chef. Love you, man. Thank you.